As Canelo Alvarez promotes his upcoming fight, he's stirring up headlines not just for his in-ring action but also for his confrontations within the boxing world. Recently, His Excellency Turki Alik revealed that he approached Canelo's team with a proposal for a fight. Canelo expressed a willingness to accept the challenge, claiming it would be an easy win if the financial terms were right.
Out there, if the Canelo fight just can't happen.
To be honest, that was my motivation. Like, you know, it's crazy and it makes me laugh with all the antics that Canelo is doing and saying in the media and whatnot.
However, His Excellency later announced that he no longer had interest in pursuing the event, which led Canelo to respond indifferently, stating that he wasn't seeking the confrontation. The situation escalated when Alik took to social media, criticizing Canelo for allegedly pursuing only easy, spectacle-driven fights. As tensions rose, Terence Crawford entered the fray, dismissing Canelo's $150 million price tag to fight him as nothing more than an excuse. If it's all about business, then you're doing good business. If I'm easy work, you'd take all that money being offered, but you won't, Crawford said, addressing Canelo's reluctant stop during his appearance on Sean Porter's The Porterway podcast. Crawford was asked about his primary motivation if the anticipated fight with Canelo doesn't materialize.
If it's all about business, then you doing good business. If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you know, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet,
Crawford made it clear that facing Canelo is his main drive, but he finds Canelo's remarks about the matchup amusing. Canelo's been fighting smaller guys his whole career, making his own catchweights for years, Crawford noted, pointing out that Canelo previously fought smaller opponents like Floyd Mayweather and Amir Khan at catchweights. Crawford slammed Canelo for making excuses, arguing that if the fight were easy, Canelo would have accepted the offer from His Excellency and made millions with little effort.
He won't get no credit and all this type of things, but Canelo been fighting smaller guys his whole career. Canelo been making his own catch weight.
Emphasizing that Canelo's reluctance to fight him only reinforces this belief. Despite Crawford's impressive track record, including becoming a 4-division champion by overcoming Israel Madov. Some remain skeptical about his ability to replicate his success against Canelo at 168 lbs. Boxing trainer and cutman Bob Santos commented, "I think it'll be a step too big for him, but he's earned the right to try. Given the current situation." A showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford seems unlikely, particularly after Canelo's clash with the very person who was trying to make the fight happen. With the bout currently on hold, Crawford still has a plethora of opportunities if he sticks to fighting at 154 lbs.
Catch weight for years. You know, Canelo fought a smaller Mayweather. Canelo fought a smaller Amir Khan.
Yeah, he did at 155. Yeah,
Amir Khan. You know, he fought Jamel Charlo, and I'm pretty sure he didn't make as much money with all those guys except Mayweather, even Berlanga right now, that he will with me. But yet and still, you know, he have all these excuses why he don't.
Recently crowned the WBA super welterweight world champion, Crawford expressed interest in potential matchups against Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr., or Jamel Charlo. Crawford stated his preference for fighting Fundora if a bout with Errol Spence doesn't materialize, as Fundora holds the WBO and WBC unified super welterweight titles. A matchup with Fundora would give Crawford the chance to secure the bulk of titles at 154 lbs and potentially make history as the first boxer in the 4-belt era to claim undisputed champion status across 3 separate weight classes. Crawford didn't hold back when discussing Canelo's reluctance to fight him. He accused Canelo of making excuses, reiterating that Canelo's excessive demands for cash prove that Crawford is a threat to his legacy. It would be crazy for a guy that started at 135 lbs to come all the way up to 168 lbs your weight, no catch weight, and dethrone you, Crawford stated.
Definitely concerns me. Taking a punch from a bigger puncher like that, especially Canelo, who will land, you know, it has you second guessing yourself because all it takes is one. However, someone as serious as Crawford, someone that is dedicated, someone with the skill set he has, the mentality that he brings in the ring, and the tenacity, bro, I give him a damn good chance of upsetting the apple cart, because he won't be the favorite in the fight. Canelo.
As the boxing world waits to see if Crawford will face Fundora, Spence, or another elite opponent, his frustration with the current situation is understandable. With a reputation for drawing crowds and an impressive collection of records, Crawford has every reason to be furious. Eddie Hearn's repeated mentions of Canelo Alvarez during the lead-up to Crawford's fight with Israel Madoff seemed dismissive, prompting Crawford to address the issue decisively. When the comments surfaced, speculation about an Alvarez vs. Crawford showdown buzzed through the boxing world, only to dissolve into a fleeting fantasy. Terence Crawford recently expressed his frustration with British promoter Eddie Hearn, calling him out for being disrespectful.
It was a little bit more challenging, however. Crawford, to me, dominated because he did what he wanted to do. And we didn't get the same fight that I was expecting. I was expecting Madrimov to be more aggressive. He's the bigger, stronger guy, the bully. But he was tamed because he had to.
I thought it was disrespectful for Eddie Hearn to lie and say we had to use Canelo's name to promote the fight. We didn't use Canelo's name to promote anything. He's just trying to stay friends with him. But it's disrespectful to me, said Crawford, who boasts a flawless record of 4-1-0. Crawford made it clear that he had effectively dismissed any queries about Alvarez and added, so for him to say we had to use his name to sell the fight is just disrespectful. Canelo Alvarez, now 34, is focused on his upcoming bout with Edgar Berlanga.
I knew that he was in there with a tough guy that didn't fight the way he usually fights, and Crawford had to figure it out.
A commitment that has complicated negotiations with Crawford. Despite this, the Mexican champion boldly demanded nearly $150 million to make the fight happen, even branding it as easy work for him. Unsurprisingly, Crawford wasted no time taking a jab at Alvarez. During the same podcast, Crawford highlighted Alvarez's contradictory stance. On one hand, Canelo claimed it was an easy fight, but on the other, he demanded hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation. Crawford had previously suggested that moving up to 168 lbs and defeating Alvarez would have been a significant achievement, potentially jeopardizing Alvarez's legacy. However, with that potential clash now off the table, Crawford can shift his attention to other champions as he continues his quest to become undisputed in 3 different weight divisions. Meanwhile, Alvarez is set to face Berlanga on September 14th. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, has been urged to pursue a mega fight with Jaron Boots Ennis. According to legendary fighter Bernard Hopkins, a fight between Crawford and Ennis is currently the most exciting matchup in boxing. Hopkins told Fight Hype, "I would want to make Crawford versus Boots Ennis in Philadelphia. Make that today because I believe any other fight, especially going up to Canelo, is not realistic, either financially or competitively." Ennis, a rising star with a perfect 3-2-0 record, has attracted considerable attention in his early career. He recently defended his IBF welterweight world title for the first time, overcoming David Avanesian, a title that was previously held by Crawford when he achieved undisputed champion status last year. Hopkins added, "Crawford versus Boots Ennis is the fight to see. That's a super fight, trust me." Despite Crawford's recent performance against Israel Madoff, some, like Tim Bradley, remain confident in Crawford's ability to defeat Canelo Alvarez at 168 lbs. Bradley, much like Sean Porter and other supporters of Crawford, was impressed by Crawford's performance against Madoff. He believes Crawford not only dominated Madoff but also tamed him, despite some fans believing otherwise after Crawford's 13-month layoff. Bradley told Co-Artist Sports Terence Crawford still has the potential to defeat Canelo Alvarez. Aside from Bivol, Crawford is the only fighter who could pose significant challenges for Canelo. Even after witnessing the Madoff fight, I still think Crawford beats him. He might even knock him out. Bradley did express concern about the weight difference, noting that taking a punch from a powerful hitter like Canelo could be dangerous, as it only takes one punch to change the outcome of a fight. However, he also emphasized that Crawford's skills, mentality, and tenacity give him a very good chance of causing an upset. "The weight definitely concerns me," Bradley said, "but someone as serious and dedicated as Crawford has what it takes to pull off a win, even against Canelo." Tim Bradley recently expressed his thoughts on the possibility of Terence Crawford facing Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing the significant challenge that Crawford would face in such a matchup. "A punch from a bigger hitter like Canelo, who will definitely land, has you second-guessing yourself because all it takes is one." However, someone as serious and dedicated as Crawford, with the skills, mentality, and tenacity he brings into the ring, I give him a damn good chance of upsetting the apple cart. He won't be the favorite in the fight Canelo would be. However, last Saturday night, Crawford clearly struggled with Madoff's power, and it was evident that he was intimidated. If Canelo were to land the same shots Madoff did, Crawford wouldn't survive for long. Either he'd be knocked out or he'd be forced to flee, with no chance of a dubious decision in his favor like he got against Madoff. Bradley commented that while Jaron Boots Ennis is a good fighter, he believes Crawford would still defeat him if they were to fight. Bradley even suggested that Crawford might knock Ennis out, confident that Crawford has what it takes to win the bout. Yet, it's unlikely that Crawford will ever face Ennis, making debates about the outcome seem irrelevant. Based on Crawford's showing against Madoff, I'd bet on Ennis winning by knockout. If Crawford does decide to take on Boots, he'll probably end up on the receiving end of a knockout. If he decides to run, he'll likely face the same fate as he did in round 12 against Madoff.